Are you concerned about how a US government regime change could affect your money? Looking for some great long-term investment ideas right now? Want to know which dividend growth stocks are worth owning under President Biden? Then you have to check out today's video.
He is a best-selling author.
30-year-old Jason Fieber has a plan.
This guy retired at only 33 years old.
I don't know if I know too many people that have accomplished something like that.
He's really kind of a guru when it comes to passive income.
Before I get into today's content, please give us a big thumbs up if you find value in our videos. Helps us to get the word out and grow the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. A new sheriff's in town. President Biden's regime is just now getting started. What does this mean for investors? What does this mean for our money? Well, I think you should take some comfort in knowing that high-quality dividend growth stocks have performed well under both Democrat and Republican presidents. I've been investing for more than 10 years now. That's 3 different sitting presidents, and my investments have done pretty great under all of them. So before you go crazy with your investments, the best thing to do would be to slow down, take it easy, and stick to your long-term plan. That said, I do think there are some high-quality dividend growth stocks out there that look especially appealing with Biden in the White House. These stock ideas are factoring in things like incoming stimulus, infrastructure spending, a tilt toward green energy, potential new taxes, an aggressive vaccine rollout, and an economic recovery. Now, these stocks should do well no matter what US government is in power, but there's an argument to be made that they could do particularly well under President Biden. Want to know which stocks? Let's dig in. The first stock I want to talk about is a high-quality US utility business. Why a utility? Well, utilities haven't really seen their businesses negatively impacted by the pandemic. After all, pandemic or not, we still need electricity to run modern-day society. But what has been impacted by the pandemic is the prices of a lot of utility stocks. This disconnect between strong business performance and weak stock performance will, in my view, change over the coming year as President Biden continues the vaccine rollout started by his predecessor and investors rethink valuations. I want to highlight Pinnacle West Capital Corporation, stock ticker PNW. This stock is trading hands for about $70 a share right now. That's $30 a share off of its 52-week high of right about $100. Yet the business has been barely scathed by the pandemic. Pinnacle West recently reported $4.87 in earnings per share for fiscal year 2020. That's actually higher than the $4.77 they reported in fiscal year 2019. Business up, stock down. That's where the opportunity lies. The stock's price to earnings ratio is 15.8 right now, which is much lower than both the broader market's earnings multiple and the stock's own 5-year average price to earnings ratio of 19. Meanwhile, they operate in Arizona, one of the fastest growing states in the US. Plus, the stock yields a monstrous 4.75% right now. What's particularly exciting about a utility stock here is that they operate as a pass-through entity insofar as taxes are concerned. Investors have been concerned about Biden's tax agenda. Well, if Biden raises taxes on corporations, utilities like Pinnacle West will just pass along that higher tax rate to their customers. This is a hedge against higher taxes. Finally, there's infrastructure spending and a green agenda. Pinnacle West Capital is already all over this. They recently announced a plan to deliver 100% clean, carbon-free electricity by 2050. That means more spending, which the utility will in turn into higher profits and dividends. The second stock I want to talk about is a healthcare company. All of those vaccines? Yeah, there's money there. And there's talk of those becoming more of an annual thing by way of booster shots. What's that sound like? Yep, more money. President Biden hasn't been shy about his desire to be aggressive with purchasing vaccines and making sure supply is strong. Companies that manufacture these vaccines stand to make a nice profit, which translates into well-covered dividends for shareholders. A noteworthy idea here is Pfizer Inc., stock ticker PFE. This stock has been in the doldrums, despite the business doing pretty well. Again, this is a disconnect leading to an opportunity. The vaccine story is actually a pretty small part of the business. I think you want to own Pfizer for the long term because it's a cheap, quality play in the pharmaceutical space. The price to cash flow ratio of 13.1 is well off of its 3-year average of 14.8. Even if Pfizer weren't in a position to benefit from the current situation, the stock still looks cheap. And the stock yields 4.7%. You get to collect that hefty growing dividend while you wait for the market to appreciate this stock. The vaccine connection to Biden is just one consideration. There's also the broader healthcare agenda that Biden could have. Democrats have long aimed to get more people access to quality healthcare products and services. While that could end up putting pressure on pricing, we also have to consider demand on the other side. A larger pool of customers means more potential pharmaceutical sales. And Pfizer would have the chance to turn those higher sales into higher profits, which could lead to higher dividends. I like the sound of that. The third stock I want to highlight is a bank. A bank? Isn't that boring? Well, it's only boring if you like to make money. A bank that's worth a good look right now is US Bancorp, stock ticker USB. It's up almost 40% over the last 6 months. Not too boring after all. This stock has been on a tear lately, but it still offers a market-beating yield of 3.4%. And it doesn't look expensive with an undemanding price-to-earnings ratio of 16.3 on depressed GAAP earnings per share. The price-to-book ratio, commonly used to value banks, is only 1.6. That's still below its 5-year average. So how could this stock benefit from a Biden presidency? Well, there are two things to consider. First, the possibility of increased mortgage origination. This bank remains one of the biggest mortgage originators in the United States. As the continued flight to the suburbs plays out, that's a profit source. Also, Biden has mentioned numerous times his desire to get a $15,000 first-time homebuyer's credit passed. That'll surely increase demand for mortgages. That's on top of the massive stimulus that's already coming down the pike. Here's another potential benefit for this stock. Rising interest rates. Biden wants to come across as the guy who beat the pandemic for Americans, regardless of whether or not that's 100% true. As such, his administration is aggressively pushing vaccines, which translates to the full reopening of the economy, which translates to the strengthening of the economy, which tends to translate to higher rates. This would play right into the hands of banks like US Bancorp that can make more money off of the higher rates and more advantageous spreads. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give us a like if you did, and let us know in the comments what you think about these dividend growth stocks. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also, take a look at the description box below for some important links, including a link to my personal stock portfolio. This 6-figure portfolio, which I call the Fire Fund, generates enough passive dividend income for me to live off of. It allowed me to retire in my early 30s. I've made my portfolio entirely accessible over a Patreon, and I also post alerts there whenever I buy or sell a stock. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm often invested in the same high-quality dividend growth stocks that I make videos on. Over the years, I've heard from thousands of investors who have been profiting from many of the same exact stocks that I own. So if you think this is something that you could benefit from as well, check the link in the description to see my portfolio and start getting my buy and sell alerts. I'll see you next time.